I'm Robin Amler of IBS Intelligence. You're listening to the IBS iViews podcast. Joining me, Mousami Kshirsagar, Vice President and Head Solution Consulting, Global Transaction Banking, EMEA and APAC for iGTB. But first, we hear from my colleague Nikhil Gokhale, Head of Research, IBS Intelligence, on the banking landscape in Vietnam.
The banking landscape in Vietnam was evolving rapidly with a huge focus on digital transformation. Many multinational companies, they were entering the market and they had expectation for having digital capabilities from all the banks. And clearly this was putting pressure on traditional banks to upgrade their tech platforms. At the same time, Vietnam also had a national digital transformation program for 2025, and this was aimed to accelerate this digitization. And as the leading state-owned bank in Vietnam, Vietcombank, they played a very crucial role in the country's overall digital transformation vision. With this commitment or this expectation, Vietcombank wanted to set goals for itself when it came to digitization and try and offer state-of-the-art functionality which would help support the multinationals coming in to Vietnam and thereby boosting investments. Specifically, speaking about this project, while multinational companies they typically had the digital capabilities, it was not the same for especially the small and mid-sized companies in Vietnam. And the modern digital platform that Vietcombank was targeting, that would have helped the small and medium companies in Vietnam to seamlessly do business with the MNCs. It could be digitizing the payments, the cash management, and also the multi-currency transactions. All this was extremely important. And overall, the project was not just strategically important for Vietcombank, but overall for the Vietnam economy as a whole.
Okay, let me turn to Mousami. Let's talk about the project. Can you give us a brief overview of the collaboration between Vietcombank and Intellect Design Arena and how that collaboration led to the development of the VCB CashUp solution?
So we all know that Vietcombank has a rich history of contribution to the Vietnamese economy. The business community of Vietnam considers VCB to be an innovative bank deeply focused on customer success. So when Vietcombank embarked on transformation of their corporate banking solution, they started looking out for a partner who could offer a comprehensive, flexible, and a resilient solution that would help VCB provide a state-of-art functionality, delightful customer experience, and help them become the leading digital bank in Vietnam. They also looked for a partner who was a global player with equally strong local Vietnam experience, one who could bring in innovative ideas and best practices for such a large digital transformation. The bank went through the evaluation process with multiple vendors. iGTB and its digital transaction banking solution, DTB, clearly stood out on three aspects. DTB proved to be the comprehensive, flexible, and resilient platform that VCB was looking for. In addition, the composable and the contextual banking capabilities offered by DTB made the VCB team believe that they could compose a unique signature solution, a solution that would provide the best banking experience and help not just VCB, but also their customers grow and succeed. iGTB brought in the best practices, being a global player with its 100 plus implementations globally, along with the local experience that it had gained working in Vietnam. So this combination was a bedrock on which VCB CashUp solution was developed. And finally, what hit the nail was the third aspect of iGTB commitment and approach that offered VCB a long-term and strategic partnership. One that would expand the horizons of not just VCB customers, but also its staff.
What would you say are some of the key differentiators that led to VCB partnering with iGTB?
So during this entire engagement, Robin, the VCB team was impressed with iGTB's people, processes, and technology. So the PWD sessions that we ran were run by bankers. So having a local team with understanding of regulatory, regional, global business and technology nuances gave confidence to the VCB team that their requirements are well understood. The team's domain expertise helped VCB design innovative products and services that would give real value to their customers. The bank found iGTB implementation process that was built around the concepts of design thinking to be different and unique. One that allowed to connect the dots between business, technology, and the operations requirements of the bank. The requirement gathering sessions, for example, were conducted on the actual application platform that was tailored for VCB based on their RFP requirements. So thereby, the focus was always on the specific needs of VCB and the differentiators that VCB would offer in the market. Finally, on the technology front, the iGTB's M-aware architecture supporting multi-entity, multi-currency, multilingual capabilities was fit for not just the current requirements, but also the bank's future expansion needs as well. So I believe these three aspects, people, processes, and technology, really impressed the VCB team.
We've been talking about this from the bank's perspective and from iGTB's perspective, but we have to remember it's all about the bank's customers. Can you give us some of the key features and capabilities of the VCB CashUp solution that have actually contributed to its success in the marketplace with the bank customers?
Very important question that you asked, Robin. How did the solution really make a difference, not just to the bank, but to the bank's customers as well? So the DTB solution powered VCB to enable its customers to make, manage, and move money. So this solution helped the bank meet the ambition of becoming the principal banker to its corporate customers that were across varied segments. So VCB has customers that are large enterprises, SMEs, MSMEs, or financial institutions. The comprehensive suite of transaction banking products across account services, payments, collections and receivables, virtual accounts, liquidity management, and supply chain finance allowed VCB to offer a single integrated cash management and supply chain finance platform to its customers. Extending this platform to supply chain finance helped the bank enter into deeper relationships with its customers, thereby building brand value, new sources of income, and increasing customer stickiness. This platform was very well received by the customers. There was a very positive feedback that was received from the market as well, especially on the corporate self-service portal. Customers appreciated the rich user experience and the capability for rendering information in actionable insights, which were used via analytics. The market also gave a big thumbs up to the DIY functions that gave power to the customers to design their own experience. On the bank side, the platform allowed VCB to quickly configure products and services in line with customer demands. This significantly reduced the turnaround time for new requests and helped VCB CashUp program to drive momentum of new customer acquisition in the market. So VCB saw a 600% increase in customer acquisition since the program was launched in 2021. And that led to a 500% revenue increase. Today, the platform is processing around 1.5 million transactions per month and generates a monthly revenue of 55,000 billion BND. This performance has been recognized at multiple forums, and the bank has received several awards for this VCB CashUp program.
All right, how easy was it? That's the key question. What were some of the challenges that you encountered during the implementation of the VCB CashUp project?
Every program, Robin, comes with its own set of challenges, and so was this VCB CashUp program. So a transformation of this nature that VCB wanted to achieve did come with its fair share of challenges. Some of them, which iGTB was aware of, had anticipated, and therefore had planned for, but while some came in as a surprise and were taken head on along the way. The first major challenge that we encountered in middle of the VCB CashUp implementation was when the bank decided to change its core banking system. Now, banks generally do not transform satellite systems like cash management or supply chain finance and core banking at the same time. That has been our experience. But here, VCB decided to run these programs in parallel. Changing in core banking meant rewiring of all the interfaces. Our solution design of having the integration layer decoupled proved to be a boon and helped restrict and minimize the impact of rewiring the interfaces to the new core banking system. All of these changes were handled in the integration layer itself. The second challenge that came along the way was when the bank decided to implement a new payments hub to connect to the local payments network. Now, again, we do all know that a change in a payments landscape means an impact to the payments workflow and as well as to the handoff formats across the multiple systems through which the payment flows. Therefore, study of all the payment would flow through the multiple systems, right from the channel to the middle office to the payments hub, was required to ensure a seamless execution. iGTB team here showed flexibility and agility and collaborated with VCB and the payment hub teams to identify and map the impacted workflows and interfaces. The iGTB team brought in their domain expertise and recommended options that would restrict the changes within the middleware itself, thus ensuring a minimal impact. This helped establish connectivity with the new payments hub in a record time. In addition to these two major challenges that I just talked about, Robin, biggest one was obviously the COVID-19. Both VCB and Intellect faced this challenge with full preparation and cooperation. Right? So I think more than COVID-19, the two challenges that I talked about the system changes, I believe they were more challenging.
Let's talk about the impact on customer experience. Nikhil, if I can turn back to you, what can we say about how the VCB CashUp solution has impacted positively the customer experience for both corporate and retail clients of Vietcombank?
As you rightly said, the customer experience is the key when it came to the benefits that the bank achieved. The VCB CashUp solution, it had a huge impact on both the corporate and the retail side for Vietcombank. Talking about the corporate clients, the implementation, it brought about a very seamless user experience across multiple devices and mediums. It helped reduce time to market and this provided faster return on investment. The overall capabilities and the flexibility that the solution enabled helped the bank to digitize its operations, the products and the services, and again, cater to a whole new set of clients, be it large or small or medium kind of corporations, right? As Mousami mentioned earlier, the platform's do-it-yourself functionality helped increase the wallet share by offering a market-ready solution. It ensured quick launch of new products and services by the corporates. This approach not only helped improve the customer experience, but overall it helped increase the customer stickiness and also facilitated the acquisition of newer customers. On the retail side, the impact, it can be clearly seen on the very strong growth numbers that the bank experienced. CASA accounts witnessed an increase of 200%. It's a very important source of capital for any bank. And they were able to onboard 1.5 million CashUp customers. And overall, this clearly reflected the popularity and the acceptance of the platform among the retail users in Vietnam. Very strong numbers, very strong quantitative benefits that the bank was able to achieve thanks to the platform simplicity and the ease of use that the platform offered. Overall, the bank's vision of becoming the leading digital bank in Vietnam was achieved to a very large extent thanks to the VCB CashUp solution.
Finally, what have we learned? What can we take forward? Mousami, what lessons has Vietcombank and indeed Intellect Design Arena learned from this collaboration?
So working during the challenging COVID period, Robin, itself was a lesson, right? For all of us, not just this program, but I think worldwide. Obviously, from this program, there were multiple learnings. However, today I will talk about the top three that come to my mind. The first and the foremost being shift left approach, right? That could be applied not just to testing, but all stages of the project. This would enable us to anticipate all the possible point of delays or breakdowns during a project and have a comprehensive mitigation plan in place. The second learning was to focus on the customer's customer, possibly the most demanding one, I would say, and also what I believe should be set as a benchmark while designing or launching a product, feature, or a function. The third learning, especially from a massive transformation project like PCP CashUp, was to have a shared vision larger enough than the project outcomes, especially when we have cross-cultural teams. Here we had people in India and Vietnam, and a vision like this acts like a binding force to move the project forward in unison. If I have to talk about the best practices, right, I would rather go more global. So iGTB is a global player. We have implementations worldwide, and we are also engaged with some key players in the Asia Pacific region. So when I talk about best practices, I would like to pick up a few from the extensive work we have done with these banks. The first best practice, I believe, is to begin with the end in mind. The whole process for the bank of defining requirements, selecting the right partner, putting the transformation team, and finally taking this product to the market should commence with a finite and agreed MVP. This would ensure that the bank can hit the market on time and in full. The second best practice would be to keep innovating in incremental bounds rather than going for a big bang approach. So, first, have the base product stabilized and well positioned in the market. Keep your customers happy. Once the customer is happy, then you would go in with a differentiating product or a function in a later phase. A happy customer leads to a better and a faster cross-sell and upsell. That's what banks should do with an incremental bout of functionality, taking it to the market. And third best practice that should be followed would be to keep all concerned teams and stakeholders involved right from the planning stage. So we have seen that certain markets are regulated heavily. So the market we are talking about today, Vietnam, falls in this case. So while implementing a solution in such countries, involving the legal and the compliance teams early on certainly gives an advantage of keeping the product possibilities within the framework. And more importantly, it cuts down the time which would otherwise be spent to handle these nuances during the actual rollout phase. So I believe these three are the best practices, Robin, that we have picked up while implementing with banks globally.
My thanks to Mousami Kshirsagar, Vice President and Head Solution Consulting Global Transaction Banking EMEA and APAC for iGTB, and to my colleague Nikhil Gokhale, Head of Research, IBS Intelligence.